Jay of Stretford, Paddock, this is the Paper Talk. I'm in the studio, so it is live. So get involved in the chat, in the comments. We've got lots of stories to get through this morning. Let us know if you've got any stories at all. If you've got any updates you want to share with us, then please do get involved. There's a story, as you may have guessed from the thumbnail, about Cristiano Ronaldo. There's a piece in The Athletic which looks at Cristiano Ronaldo since his arrival at Manchester United, or his return, I should say, at Manchester United, and how certain things have gone down in the dressing room. There's a couple of rumours and stories regarding cliques and a bit of division, but it's not all doom and gloom, so I'll get into that. There's also a Paul Pogba story. Obviously, where would we be without Paul Pogba stories? There's an update on the Jesse Lingard situation as well, and some news regarding Erling Haaland, nearly said Alf-Inge Haaland then. No, Erling Haaland. We'll start off with Jesse, because this has been sort of rumbling on a little bit. It's been rumbling on for months, hasn't it, really? But certainly the last couple of days, it seems to have sort of kicked in a gear, because Newcastle look like they're determined to try and get Jesse Lingard in this transfer window. Newcastle, of course, near the bottom of the table. The newly minted, got lots of money, but they're in a bit of trouble, because I think there's 3 or 4 points from safety. I think they are. They're not out of it, by any stretch of the imagination. I think a decent run and all will be well, but they need to go on that run. I've just had a look there now. Basically they're in the second from bottom on 12 points. Watford are on 14 points, but Newcastle played a game more. Watford are 17th. So yeah, 3 points from safety basically. So they need to get reinforcements in. They need to start picking up points, because they've not had a new manager bounce, have they, since Eddie Howe took over. They've brought in a few players. Obviously, they brought in like Kieran Trippier, for example, but they need more. And Jesse Lingard, we saw what he did at West Ham last season. It looks like they want to try and force that deal through and bring Lingard, or take Lingard to St James's. Now, there's obviously lots of ifs and buts and maybes. Jesse Lingard, of course, out of contract in the summer. He may just be hanging on because obviously, he's a United fan. He's been at United all his life. I know he's had a lot of low moves, so he might not want to leave United until he has to. There's also the scenario of course, if he leaves on a free, he can get himself more money, because he's not cost the club anything if he signs with someone else. And he may not be confident that Newcastle are going to stay up. If he goes there, there's no guarantee, just because, he's a good player, but just because he's gone there doesn't mean that guarantees Newcastle will be in the Premier League next season. So he might be looking at it going, you know what, I just don't fancy this. I could end up in the Championship next season. I can maybe make myself a few more quid of a stick around. And also, I don't really want to have to leave United unless I have to. Who knows? Only Jesse Lingard knows the answer to all those. But it looks like Newcastle are pulling out all the stops, because there was talk, wasn't there? It was like a few days ago that they were willing to pay about 2 or 3 million, then it went up to 6 million, I think. There was even talk of it being up to around 12 million, but I think that's with wages as well. They're certainly willing to pay his wages and a fee. It does kind of make sense that he'd go there, for me. Makes sense from a United point of view, because I don't think he started a Premier League game this season. And also, for Jesse Lingard, it'd be regular football. I think the fly in the ointment is this question mark about how stable that club is in terms of their Premier League status. And he's got a family. He might not want to move to Newcastle. People often forget those types of things, don't they, when it comes to transfers? He might just think, you know what, I don't fancy moving to the North East. Who knows? But as always, we'll keep you posted on that. Let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think about that. Paul Lucas says, Jesse should have gone to West Ham for his own good. That was the most logical move, wasn't it, in the summer? He had a great loan spell there last season, end of last season. He wasn't guaranteed a start or a place in the Manchester United team this season. You think, okay, go back to West Ham. You're obviously like there. You've played well there. You know the players there. You got yourself back into the England fold. I know he wasn't in the final England squad, but he was in the provisional squad for the Euros. So you think if you go there, there's every chance you can get yourself back into the squad for the World Cup. But I don't know how concrete the offer was from West Ham. Was there even an offer? We were covering that story, and I don't recall, I might be wrong, but I don't recall there being a sort of a concrete offer from West Ham when they said, yeah, here's 10, 15, whatever it takes, million quid to get Jesse Lingard. I think it was more of they were interested in him, but they wanted to bring him back, but United wanted a certain amount that West Ham weren't really looking to pay. West Ham have done all right without him, to be fair. We've got him this weekend. They're in the top 4. So it did seem like a logical one, but for whatever reason, it just didn't happen. James Blonde says 6 million loan fee plus wages sounds like good business to me. It does to me as well. But who knows? Fat Belly 27 says, I think West Ham would have suited him better, but he'll do a job for Newcastle. I think he'll do a job for Newcastle. I think they've every reason to try and push that move. because they need quality players. And Jesse Lingard is a quality player. And if he goes there, he starts for him and he'll make a big difference for him. And if he can do anything like what he did at West Ham, where I think was it 9 goals and 5 assists or something in 15 games, something around that. I might be getting that slightly wrong. Might be a bit more assists. If he does that at Newcastle, it'll get him right out of trouble. And that's the main thing for them is you want to get to the summer, still being in the Premier League. They've got all this money, and then they can spend it. Anyway, we'll move on from Jesse Lingard, and if we do hear anything, or if you hear anything, give us a shout, and if we hear anything, we'll keep you updated. I'll just sort of talk quickly about Alf. I nearly said it again there. What is up with me? Alf-Inga Haaland? No, Erling Haaland, his son. There's a report in ESPN that Manchester United have been dealt a blow in their pursuit of Erling Haaland, not Alf-Inga Haaland. And basically saying that we're out of the race. United are out of the race to sign Erling Haaland, sources told ESPN, with the club ready to focus on alternative attacking options, having been made aware the Borussia Dortmund forward favours a summer move to Real Madrid. He says he's going to leave in the summer, leave Dortmund in the summer. He's got a €75 million release clause. We knew that anyway, and it looks like he could be heading to the Bernabeu. Now, I think we missed the chance of signing Erling Haaland when he went to Dortmund. That was around the time I thought that might happen. He knew Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It was a fee that looked like it was doable. He preferred Dortmund, or his agent maybe Mino Raiola, whatever. Let's not get into that. He went to Dortmund. We didn't get him. Now it looks like he's 75 million is his release in euros. He's going to cost a lot more in wages. There's all talk on there of signing on fees and all this other stuff as well. And like I mentioned there earlier, Mino Raiola's involved, so he's going to get a few quid for both himself and his client. So it looks like Erling Haaland to Manchester United isn't happening. Get involved in the comments. Let us know what you think about that. I mean, Ant says, we never, he's put all this in capitals and with a full stop after each word. He's probably right. We never had a chance of signing Haaland. I agree. The chance was when he went to Dortmund, wasn't it? I don't think it's going to happen now. I'd be amazed if it did. And according to ESPN, their sources, he wants to go to Real Madrid. So it looks like that's where he's going to be heading. Should we get to the Ronaldo story, which is the story on the thumbnail? Now, there's a piece in The Athletic that talks about Cristiano Ronaldo's sort of what's been going on for him since he arrived, how he's been getting on with everyone, whether there's an issue there and all that sort of stuff. We had this interview, didn't we, with Cristiano Ronaldo last week. Seems like an eternity ago, where he said about players when he was 18, he used to listen to the older players, and he's not really had that from the younger players. He doesn't feel like they've tried to tap into his experience. That was the gist of the interview. And I thought, okay, fair enough. I remember him when he was at United, when he was 18. He did progress. He did kick on as a player. He did seem like someone who seemed to learn from his peers. He doesn't feel like the younger players are doing that with him. Okay, maybe they should. He's one of the greatest players of all time. He's won the lot. 5-time Ballon d'Or winner. Why not listen to him? Then we've had this incident, haven't we, as well, this week at the Brentford game. He was subbed on the 71st minute. United 2-0 up. Subbed, kicks off, has a bit of a go at Ralph Rangnick, or, has a bit of a spat, or whatever you want to call it, discussion, shall we say, with Ralph Rangnick, clearly saying, why have you taken me off? He didn't do that thing, you players cover the mouths, like the giving away government secrets. He didn't do any of that. He just went, why have you taken me off? And you could see Ralph Rangnick explain it. And after the game, Ralph Rangnick explained that, we were 2-0 up. He wanted to bring on an extra body, I think, in defence. He brought on Harry Maguire to see out the game. We also scored after Cristiano came off. Marcus Rashford got a goal. And the game finishes 3-1. So we win. Job done. Anyway, Ronaldo wasn't happy. Ralph Rangnick explained it to him. A bit of a storm in a teacup, if you will. But that's 2 storms in 2 teacups in the past week. So he says this is a piece in the Athletics. It's really in-depth, sort of all-encompassing piece. It looks at his return. It looks at the results. Looks at what happened with Ole. It looks at sort of his heat maps. I think it's sort of like how he's influenced games and the type of goals he's got and the type of performances he's putting in. Some sources as well there about what's going on in the dressing room, about what's going on in training. I'll just pull out a couple of quotes from the article. I think it was Adam Crafton who's written it, I think with some help from the likes of Laurie Whitwell and Carl Anka. And it says, on a personal level, Ronaldo was naturally blended with his Portugal teammates Diogo Dalot and Fernandes, although several sources have suggested cliques have split the United dressing room. Equally, Ronaldo is not alone in believing several of United's younger players ought to be more focused. Several members of Solskjaer's backroom staff shared Ronaldo's view. Again, goes on to say about Greenwood, the world's his oyster if he further increases his concentration and application. There's also a story here about in a recent 11v11 training drill, Ronaldo endured a tough time at centre forward, so Rangnick switched him to left wing. Ronaldo almost affronted, redoubled his efforts and finished the session, accordingly. Also, it says about the interview that he gave. I mentioned the interview where he said, I remember when I was 18, some older players spoke with me and I took that as having to improve. They know more than me as they have had more bad moments. This new generation in general don't accept that if you criticise them. Don't accept that if you criticise them. I have kids, I know. It's a bit of a shots fired, that one. And I've got kids. I mean, I don't think, comparing your teammates to kids, come on, to your kids. It's not like his kids are 25. They're children, aren't they? And then the article, goes on to say, in the dressing room, Ronaldo's words were noted and did not go down well with everyone. Although The Athletic has learned that at least one high-profile senior player was very supportive of the sentiments echoed by Ronaldo. So it seems like there's a little bit of a disagreement going on, shall we say. Some players are on board with what Ronaldo was on about. Some players are a little bit like, I'm not so sure. It's one of those that Ralph Rangnick's got to get his hands around. He's got to sort this out. We cannot have our most prominent, high-profile player, also our top scorer as well, and someone, if we are going to win silverware, we need him firing all cylinders, having this fallout, if you can call it that, with either the manager or the players or whatever. Now, at the moment, it seems like it's not a full-blown massive fallout or a war or whatever, and no need to be melodramatic. It just seems like a few people are on a different page, but it could escalate. We've seen it escalating slightly where we've had the issue with the interview last week, and then the Brentford sort of kick-off where he wasn't happy about being subbed. These are the little things you need to sort out. You just need to nip them in the bud because you don't want it to become a thing where Ronaldo's extremely unhappy, the coaches are not getting on with him, the manager's not getting on with him, some of the youngsters aren't getting on with him, and it becomes this sort of disjointed, fractured dressing room, especially when, as has been mentioned there, there's all this little clique of himself, Bruno Fernandes and Diogo Dalot. You don't want that. You want the dressing room to be united, pardon the pun. So get involved in the comments, let us know what you think about that. Do you think it is just a bit of a nothing to worry about, these things happen? Are you concerned? At the moment, I'm not overly concerned. I just think it's one of those where you just got to keep your eye on it, sort of thing. There is no issues. There is no issue, says Samuel Pogba. Ronaldo news sells. CEO James Jones says probably about Greenwood's selfish play. Just Brandon OK says obviously Matic agreeing with him. Lol. He did say one senior player agreed with him. So I mean, we don't know the facts. We just know that there's obviously something going on there. There's several reports, not just The Athletic. And also, you can see it. You can see the interview that he gave. You can see his body language and what he was saying when he came off at Brentford. This isn't purely paper talk. There's something there. I just don't know how serious it is. And I have a feeling that it can be dealt with relatively painlessly if Ralph Rangnick gets a hold of it. And at least one good thing about this is it's pretty much out in the open. It's like Rangnick must know. He obviously knows what went down at Brentford. He knows about the interview. So he must say, okay, there's a couple of things here that I need to address. He's got loads of experience, Ralph Rangnick. He's been in the game for whatever it is, 40 years or whatever. This should be bread and butter to him. I know he's not necessarily managed an ego like Cristiano Ronaldo's before, but he's managed players, over 4 decades. I'm sure he'll be able to sort this out. He just needs to do it sooner rather than later because we don't want it escalating and becoming an issue where, it affects the team or we're not all on the same page. I think that there's a great group of players here. It wasn't that long ago that we all loved this group of players. Now it seems like, they've all become very unpopular, but there is a good, strong group of players there, especially you see them out with some of the youngsters as well. Andy Olanga's coming to the side doing a great job. Mason Greenwood, I'm a massive fan of. Marcus Rashford had his issues as well, but he's, good to see him get back on the score sheet. Bruno Fernandes is back on form. We've seen the likes of Alex Telles and Diogo Dalot come into the side and do a good job. There's some decent players. Sounds like a bit of a backhanded compliment. There is a good set of players. This is a team that finished second last season, and then we've added Varane, who's excellent. We've added Cristiano Ronaldo and Jadon Sancho. We should be able to at least get in top 4 and challenge for trophies. So there's no excuses really. We just need to start working together. Daniel Kirk says, didn't Elanga say it was an honour to play with Ronaldo? Seems like a feud. I mean, I like Elanga. I thought his comments after the game against Brentford were very sort of mature, and he's been a breath of fresh air since he's come in. And this is what I mean. We don't want young players being involved in anything or seeing this sort of thing in the dressing room. It just needs to get nips in the bud, doesn't it? And hopefully it can do before it escalates into something more serious. Another story doing the rounds. This is from our mate Sam Pilger. Sam was on the Tier 1 Transfer podcast earlier this week with Joe and Ronaldo Brown. He's written an article he's written this for Opta Sport, looking at Paul Pogba, because Paul Pogba, obviously, out of contract in the summer. Ralph Rangnick spoke about him last week, and he said, listen, he's going to go, basically. Or he said if he does go, I'm paraphrasing, it's okay. I just want him to play well. Until he goes, I want to get the most out of him for the next 4 months, just as I want to get the most out of Nemanja Matic's, contract's up in the summer. Just like my contract's up. He was saying those sort of things. And I kind of agree with that. I know a lot of people get angry when it comes to Paul Pogba and his situation and whether he's going to stay or not. But I understand the idea that we need Paul Pogba playing. I think we do anyway. We need him to be, part of the team. And if he is fit and he is available, then he should be in the team for me. And we should try and get the most out of him until he goes. I don't think we should have him sat on the bench or, not involved. I don't get that as an idea. I don't think that helps us. I think if you've got a player like Paul Pogba and he's available, then you pick him. Especially, he's under contract at the end of the summer. Till the summer, sorry. He's on a lot of money. Why would you not play him? I know it's not just about he earns a lot of money to play him. But why would you say, okay, then you just have an holiday till the summer and then you can go? No, pick him and play him. We've seen earlier on in the season how effective he can be. We know Paul Pogba can be effective. There's another debate about consistency and stuff like that. We can have another day. But for me, Paul Pogba is someone that Ralph Rangnick could utilise and could help us get into that top 4 spot and hopefully as well challenge for some honours. So Sam here says, Manchester United remain hopeful Paul Pogba can be persuaded to stay. On Monday morning this week, Pogba walks back onto the pitch at Manchester United Carrington training ground to take part in his first session for more than 2 months since he picked up a thigh injury with France last year. 2 hours later, Pogba was on the side of the pitch, striking a typically confident pose for a photograph alongside his teammates Tommy and Cristiano Ronaldo, Donny van de Beek, Phil Jones, Luke Shaw and Marcus Rashford. That was the winners are picture. You've probably seen that. I think it was doing the rounds on socials. Back in training, obviously, now we just need to see him back on a football pitch for Manchester United. Is he going to stay? Probably not. Although, as Sam says, there's still hope there. Manchester United is still hopeful. Personally, I think I've given up on it. But regardless of that, you want to see Paul Pogba played for Manchester United. Motty Ekasol, who's been a member of the first team for 2 months, says, is it true that Bruno told Ronaldo to F off back to Juve? Seems like a lot of young players don't like his style of play or his attitude. I've not heard that, and I'd be surprised by that because the Portuguese teammates, they seem to get on quite well. Whenever we see the pictures of him or the video of him or footage of him playing together, there doesn't seem to be any issue there. Bruno Fernandes has been captain the last few games. Honestly, when Harry Maguire's not playing, obviously Ronaldo took over Bruno Fernandes' penalty taking. I don't think that seemed to cause any issues. Bruno missed one, was against Villa. Ronaldo then took over. I don't see anything there. I mean, if you've heard anything, if you've seen anything, by all means let us know. But I don't think that. Sam J says, Jay, I'm currently writing an essay on 1984 and totalitarianism. Can you help? I'm actually writing an essay myself, so no, I can't. Sorry, I'm struggling with my own. Dennis Ross says, please no, sick of all the gossip and Raiola in general. Rather have Kevin Phillips at this point. Calvin Phillips. Kevin Phillips, what is this, 2001? Calvin Phillips, sorry there, Dennis. Yeah, I think that's in terms of the Erling Haaland rumours. If you're not subscribing to the channel, if you're not liking the video for starters, give us a like. 186 likes. Hit that like button. Let's get to at least 100 likes. Come on, people. Also, if you're not subscribing to the channel, we'll put a subscribe link in the chat if we can, producer can. Give us a subscribe. Let's get 700,000 subscribers by the end of the season. I think we're on about 625,000 or something like that. So it's a bit to go, but we can do it as well. Good to see we've got over 100 likes. Listen, at the moment, it just seems like everything's a bit sort of up in the air. We don't know who's coming and going. It looks like Jesse could be going to Newcastle. It doesn't look like we've anything concrete in terms of signings. There's still this question mark about Paul Pogba's long-term future. There's question marks about what's going on in the dressing room. Is there a feud with Ronaldo? Is there not? Is he getting on with the manager? Is there a problem with the younger players? It does seem a little bit edgy, doesn't it? Touchy at Manchester United. We just need to get some results, don't we? We need to build on the Brentford result, and we've got a big game against West Ham this Saturday. So if we can get a win there, get ourselves right back in the mix for the top 4, and obviously, hopefully, move on in the cups as well, get past Middlesbrough and get past Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, then things will start to look a lot brighter. Zeric says, love your bald head, Jay. Thank you. I think that's a great place to wrap it up. This has been the Paper Talk. Don't forget, we'll be back later on. We'll have the Howson's Brew, and tomorrow we'll have the watch along as well. We've also got the preview for the West Ham game, so make sure you check it out. If you're not doing, subscribe to the channel. There's a link in the description and in the chat. I've been Jay Motty. This has been the Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.